Yeah, it turns out I had my mic off. Anyway, this is my first stream, and just to, reiterate, this is a project for college art education. I'm not really much of a physical art person, I'm more so digital art. So anyway, this is my first time streaming, and it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun. So anyway, I thought I might as well just talk with you guys while I work on this. Let's see here. You guys can see this pretty good? Okay. Let's go. Let's do this thing. So anyway, while I work on this project, I'm actually going to be talking to, and I don't know what I'll talk about. I guess I'll just talk about the first thing that comes into my mind. Uh, it's pretty chill here. Just getting some stuff set up right now. Getting some paint out. So the theme for this project was actually an emotion. Um, the last project I had to do a self-portrait, and then for this one, I have to do an emotion. The first project I did was like I had to take a child's storybook, and I had to take a child's storybook, and then I had to what was it? I had to do swatches of the colors in that child's storybook. And then I had to cut them out, and I had to cut them out, and then I had to do like my own, paper mache cutout panel for the child's storybook. Just letting you guys know right now, I am not much of a streamer, so try to contain your expectations. What I'm actually doing right now is, well, for starters, I'm working on the background, and I'm working on the background because I want to make sure that's done before I actually work on the figure. And since I'm working on the background, that'll give me the chance to add any highlights I can right now for my character. And the good thing about working on the background first is because you're working on the background, you don't really have to worry about any marks because a lot of the times artists they like to actually put masking tape or like artist tape around the border of their piece, and that's what I'm doing. This is actually the first time I'm showing my face. I don't usually show my face in my videos. I like to let my art and my animation speak for me, not really my face. But I can't really, you know, show this portrait I'm working on without showing my face as well. This is a lot of black. I don't need to mix it yet, which is actually a good thing. Anyway, this is the longest time that you guys are actually seeing me because I usually just like to, you know, draw my pictures and then that'll be the end of it. As you can see, Live streaming is a lot of pressure because I might say the wrong thing, or I might have the wrong thing in my background, or shit, I don't know. My biggest fear is embarrassing myself in front of a bunch of people. That is like, I have a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot of social anxiety, but like, I'm just afraid of making a fool of myself, I guess you could say. I mean, hey, if I make a fool of myself now, then I don't have to worry about it later. There's only up from here, right? Don't count on me showing my face too often, okay? I don't really show my face often. And yeah, this was just like an abrupt live stream because usually streamers, they like to, have like their own little title cards and like stream will start in X number of minutes. Me, like, I don't even know how to do that. It's my first time. The first time is usually trial and error. Like, that's true for art even. Like, your first time is going to be trial and error. I mean, you should have seen the first piece I ever posted. Like, that was shit, honestly. It was bad. A second. Someone is messaging me right now. Give me 1 second, please. Just a second. I'll get back to painting. Besides, it gives this a chance to dry a little bit before I add some white and, mix things to it. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yes. Anything you do, it takes time and it takes a few failures before you get it right. Like, I remember I used to be afraid of failure. I really did used to be afraid of failure. Like, I don't even know how I even got this far. Anyway, like, but yeah, you have to be willing to fail. Like, that was a whole thing I learned in college. It was actually an entire module where it's like, it's a leadership and then entrepreneurship. One of my entrepreneurship classes, they actually had this whole thing too, where it's like you have to be willing to fail in order to succeed. I mean, me, it's like, yeah, everyone wants to succeed. Like, that's just a given. Everyone wants to succeed. Everyone wants to make a name for themselves. And like, I grew up with I didn't have like a rough childhood, but like, my mom, she's a single mom. My dad's actually a really cool guy. Like, it's not like they left on bad terms. Like, they just fell out of love. So like, I'm not gonna. But this ain't about them. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, in my family, like, and it's not just my immediate family, like my mom and dad, but it's like my family. Like, they pressure you to make sure you have an education. Because that was a big thing for my grandmother, is that my grandmother wanted to make sure that all of her children had an education. And it's like, dang, she told me like a bunch of stories, and I would like overhear their gossip and like their old stories about how like my uncle, he would like badmouth the teacher when he was young, and like my other uncle, he would act like he knew everything, and like they weren't bad kids. Like, they loved their sisters. They were good. They are. I shouldn't say they were. They are good people. It's just, because when you're young, your brain isn't developed. So, like, you think you're bad and you think you rule the world. And, like, there's nothing wrong with that because we all have had that moment in life where, we think we're big and bad and we think we can do anything and everything. Anyway, where was I going with this story? Oh yes, my grandmother was very serious about education. Like she wanted to make sure all her children had an education, and even when her children's children were born, she still pushed her children to make sure that her grandchildren had education too. And yeah, so it's like, people in my family, they want to make sure that you succeed, which is a really good thing because, nowadays, not many people are like that. Not many people, well, not to say that people want you to fail, but it's more so like, you know, people are so passe about grades and stuff like that. And, you can't change the world. You can't tell people that their beliefs or that their feelings about something is wrong. You can't say that. But like, where was I going with this? I don't know. Anyway, like, just some things are not as easy as you want them to be. You have to work for it. And I like to think that, the more you work and the more you try, things will just come easily. Well, I shouldn't say easily. That's too passe to just say things come easily. Nothing comes easy. More like, education is important because you need to make sure that you have the knowledge to get ahead in this world. Things are hard in this world. Things are really hard. So an education will get you one step ahead to what you truly want. You need to be smart. You need to be clever. I mean, you still have to be a good person, but just make sure you work hard for the things you want in life. I mean, shit, I have an education and look at me. I'm actually a bad example. One of my biggest regrets, however, is that I started my channel late. That is a regret that I will always keep in the back of my mind, is that, maybe I would have been bigger, maybe I would have had more success if I had just started my channel earlier. But you can't really know about stuff like that. You just can't really know. Because I really started, actually drawing and actually animating when I was in high school. But the only issue with that is I was so self-conscious about my work is that I wouldn't share it. Or I wouldn't actively, put tags in my videos in order to get a following for what I was doing. Because I just had this imposter syndrome. I felt like I didn't belong. I felt like, you know, felt like I didn't deserve to be successful yet. I thought I had to be Picasso before I just thought I had to be the best artist. And we all have problems. We all go through stuff. We all have things we're scared about or things we are unsure about. I mean, shit, I'm still unsure about a bunch of stuff. Right now, I'm actually working on my own TV show, my own animation. You may have seen, some of my animations. That's actually like exercises I've been doing to, get my skills up. Because before you even make your own show, you need to make sure you have the skills for it. Anyway, shit, sometimes I just be talking, and I don't even know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm sure you guys have family members like that. They just talk, and you're like, what are you talking about? I don't know what I'm talking about. This is just my first stream jitters because this is my first time streaming. And I have that fear that I'm gonna embarrass myself in public. I've always had that fear. Like, I've always had the fear that I would do something or say something that's gonna, like, draw attention, and then I'm gonna feel, like, really awkward about it. Because I was always self conscious about making scenes. Because I was a nerdy kid growing up. I'm still nerdy. Who am I kidding? Y'all already know I'm nerdy, and this is the first time some of y'all are even meeting me. I should add some water to this to help blend it. Anyway, back to this piece. So the professor wants us to draw a piece based on an emotion or an emotional state. And this one is hope. Kind of ironic, but also kind of not ironic because I like to think I've always had hope. Even though, like, my life has not been easy. Nobody's life has been easy. And I don't say this to, like, say, oh, I've had my life worse than anyone. I haven't. My life is only hard to me because I'm the only one experiencing it. I don't know anybody else's life, so I can't speak on their lives, but all I'm going to tell y'all is I've had a rough life. And of course, like, no, my parents never abused me. I'll never say that. I'll never even try to claim that my parents abused me. Like, my parents are awesome. My parents are my most avid supporters. My mom, she loves my art, and my dad, I told him that I was making my own show, and he said, oh, like, that's awesome, that's amazing, I want to see it when it's done. And I'm like, thank you. I've had some supporting parents, like, they're amazing. I love my dad and I love my mom. They're the two most important people in my life. And my mom, she has like a temper, but like, whose parent doesn't have a temper nowadays? Because the thing is that I know where her temper comes from. She wants me to be successful, she wants me to be safe, and she wants me to be happy. Like, I'll never, you know what I mean. Like, I'll never take her temper for granted because I know where it comes from. And I love my mom. And I'll be honest, she doesn't really understand art, but at the end of the day, who does? Who does understand art? I mean, anyone who is an artist, we're crazy. Like, artists don't even understand art. That's why there's this whole thing about art philosophy and shit like that. Because even artists don't understand what they're doing sometimes. They just do it because they like it. We make pretty pictures for a living. That's actually something that my graphic design, my digital media teacher told me in high school. She would always say, don't ask me, I just draw pretty pictures for a living. And it was so funny. And I've kind of just taken that as my own. Like, I'll just say, I draw pretty pictures for a living. It's my favorite comeback. It's my favorite thing to say. Because one day I actually will just draw pretty pictures for a living. Like, and people really do make their living off of drawing pretty pictures. Like, how awesome is it to be able to say that? Like, yeah, I draw pictures for a living. Yeah, I do art for a living. I think everyone would want the ability to say that. Like, yeah, I draw pretty pictures for a living. Oh my gosh. I should not be live streaming because I just ramble. I can't hold a topic for my life. And another thing is that because I am doing online classes, because I'm doing online classes, like I'm just at home by myself for like extended periods of time. That sounds bad. I shouldn't say it like that. But it's like I'm just on my own in my room doing art or doing some other assignment. By myself, just doing this. So I could always benefit from streaming, and I always could benefit from streaming. It's just, I've never really found the time because I feel like my mom would embarrass me if I streamed, or she would like say something and expose me. She wants me to do my best and she wants me to be my best. And that's what I love about her. I wouldn't call myself a mama's boy, but I do love my mom. And I am running out of black. It's a good thing I went to the store and bought some more, though. Let me just blend this up here. Make sure that it's all mixed well. I mean, when this is done, I wonder if I can use workable fixative on it. Now, for those of you who don't know, workable fixative is like a finish spray for your art. You put it on a piece. It's usually used for charcoal, but some artists actually manage to use it for like paintings and stuff like that. Anyway, I digress. It's used to protect your art so that you can either come, and it's actually workable fixative. So if you want to, you can go back to it and work some more. But it essentially protects the art so that it doesn't stain or like pick up any dirt. It's really good for charcoal works because then it allows the charcoal to stick to the paper. And I'm actually planning on doing a charcoal portrait of my grandmother. Yeah, she actually passed in September, and it's been rough on my mom. I mean, it's been rough on me too, cause like, gosh, like I spent my life with my grandmother. Like, it was just me, my mom, and my grandma. Like, it was just us three. Like, my mom, she was living in Wilmington, and she literally just left Wilmington to take care of my grandmother when my grandmother fell. Like, that is devotion. That is a good person right there. And that's why I'll never say anything bad about my mom or complain about my mom because I know she's a good person. Deep down, she is a good person. She's amazing. She's amazing. I'm just afraid she'll embarrass me. I mean, that's a reasonable fear, right? Being afraid that your mom is going to embarrass you. I think that's everyone's fear. Honestly, I think everyone is afraid that their parent is going to embarrass them. And that can be like out in public or like online. Because I think a lot of people, a lot more people, would stream if they could. Like, this is my first stream just because it's easier for me. Because I might as well, milk the content. I already have to record for school, so I might as well, let's just make this a live stream. And I already have this recording while I already have the footage recorded while I'm also live streaming it, so that's good. This is coming along nicely. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is supposed to be a tempera painting. But between you and me, I'm just using like regular paint because I'm just using regular paint because it's easier for me, and I can always go back and work on it again if I want to. I like to blend my colors using water because that allows the paint to get wet again or some form of wetness so that the colors can merge and blend together. And then if it has merged too much or if it has blended too much, then I'll just go back over it again later with either some more white or some more black. You know, speaking of this, I might actually do a animation stream. That would be nice. That would be fun. You know, live stream myself animating. That would be awesome. So anyway, the theme for this piece is hope. Oh yeah, I was originally talking about hope. So why did I choose hope? Oh yeah, I was talking about how my life has not been easy. Anyway, I chose hope because, well, just that, my life has not been an easy one, and even though people in my immediate family have supported me, like, as for people outside of my family, I haven't really received many support. And you know, I do have friends. Friends say, "Oh, your art looks amazing. Your art looks really good." But it's like, yeah, but none of them would commission me or like talk about me and get me a job. Like, and you know, I don't fault them for that. That's not my place. I can't really say like, "Oh, they should have supported me. They should have done X, Y, Z." I can't say that. I'm not gonna say that. Hmm. So right now I'm actually mixing some blue and some white. I'm trying to get a nice light blue color because this is going to be a white and light blue piece on a black background to symbolize, well, you know, hope. And I might mix in some, you know, base yellow too to give off a halo effect for the piece because yellow is also, you know, it represents joy and expression. My favorite part is the mixing process. You know, I'm probably doing this wrong because I have these flatter swatches at the bottom for like more space. I'm just mixing it right here in the big tub. Anyway, I say, you know, just do what you feel is right. Whenever you're doing art, just do what you feel is right. Do what you enjoy. And you know, obviously, if you're going to school for art, you are going to need to follow instructions. I'm not saying no to instructions, but you know, outside of the instructions you have to listen to, whenever you're doing art, make sure to add your own personal flair because at the end of the day, this is for you. Art school is just to teach you like the fundamentals and to get you working, give you a mindset for like working with a client. But outside of that, you know, job readiness program, do what you enjoy. Do what you think that you would like. Dang, I should have used. Yeah, this is too big. I mean, I got some paint mixing. I'm just afraid it's gonna dry because I'm using like an acrylic paint. And if you don't, and if you know, you know. If you don't know, then acrylic paint dries. I'm not gonna say it dries fast, but like if you just have it out like this, especially in clumps, like it's gonna dry. I mean, I think all paint dries. I shouldn't have said that. All paint dries. It's more so like, when acrylic paint dries, it becomes a plastic. With watercolor, you can easily get it back in its wet form, but acrylic paint, like once that dries, you're dealing with plastic now, which is why I like to be quick, but at the same time, I know that for certain areas and portions, I'm gonna have to make sure the paint dries a certain bit. I'm glad my mom told me about getting that tarp. So anyway, sheesh, like back in December and January, there was like this threat of snow in North Carolina, and so like it was snow, and then I think we got like a hail warning too. Anyway, there was this threat of like snow, and my mom and I, we were like rushing to Walmart. We were trying to get tarps for our for the car because you don't want to have your car damaged. I don't think anyone would want their car damaged. We wanted to make sure that the car was okay in case an emergency happened, and also just to not have to foot that bill. And we had gotten one tarp for the car because that was really all we needed was just one tarp. We might have bought two. It was a while ago, so I don't really remember. Anyway, we bought this tarp to protect the car, and then I told my mom I was working on this painting, and she said, "Oh yeah, just use the tarp. Like we still have that tarp. Remember downstairs?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, we do have that tarp." So anyway, I'm using this tarp to protect my carpet because, like I said, my school wants me to record myself when I draw to make sure I'm not plagiarizing, which is a good thing. Like I would never plagiarize, never ever plagiarize, but I understand. I understand the reasoning as to why the school wants us to record ourselves. Like I had to write up some documentation saying yes, I allow myself to be recorded. And like even though I'm 20 years old, it's still required that you give consent to have yourself be recorded. Like honestly, that's actually a good thing that they require you to give consent to be recorded. Though nowadays, not many people care about consent. But also nowadays, like people don't really. It's just a new age. Things are not like they were 20 and 30 years ago. I'm 21, so all I have to work off of is the stories that my mom has told me and the stories that my grandma told me about how things were easier. Another thing about the old days, my grandmother, like, okay, so you know how ripped jeans are, they're still in, or at least they were in when I was in school. And like, I would always visit my grandma, and she would look at my ripped jeans, and she's all like, "Oh wow, you wear ripped jeans? Like back in my day, if you wore ripped clothing, then like people thought that you had no money." But it's like ripped jeans are the style nowadays. And I'm like, yeah, grandma, ripped jeans are the style. Man, I miss my grandmother. I can't believe I'm saying this, but my mom was right about this canvas. I wanted to just use regular paper, but she's all like, no, no, put it on canvas. Because my mom wants me to hang my art around the house. I'm also glad I got some spray fixed too. Ooh, and I could add some white around the border to give it like that nice blended look. I also bought this easel like 2 days ago during the weekend because I needed an easel for my room. Yep, and I'm out of this shade of blue. I'm just rinsing out this paint. Rinsing out this brush. Make sure I get it all before I start getting some water and blending this. I'll have you know that, yeah, live painting is not my strong suit, sadly. I don't want to dry this up a little bit. I don't want to add too much water. Okay. Now to use this brush. You know, I probably should have. It's fine. I'll be fine. I'm usually watching videos or listening to music while I'm painting. I've never really just been alone with my thoughts before. Here it is. Oh yeah, the other day I finished a piece of mine. So anyway, I'm a fan of Final Fantasy 14, and I was watching. I shouldn't say I was watching, but like I just had this idea to like draw fan art for one of the characters. Vana, she was essentially she's Hydaelyn from Final Fantasy 14. She's like this big crystal lady who like she's kind of like a Jesus character actually. If you remember from like back in high school where your teacher would talk about like Jesus figures in literature, Vana is essentially just that. She's like a big Jesus character. Like she severed the world in order to give them hope. She wanted to stop this eldritch entity um, named Zodiark. And I really liked her character because she essentially gave me hope. Like, because I was very doubtful of, like, if I would succeed. And just, just saying this, like, Final Fantasy is a really Final Fantasy is good. Final Fantasy is golden. It's amazing. Like, it'll tell you stories that'll like give you hope, even when you're like on at your lowest point. It's amazing, and I just had to draw some fan art of her because, like, I was afraid that I would be a failure. I was afraid that I would just have mountains of debt. But like after Endwalker, like I feel pretty good after Endwalker. And obviously you don't know the future. I don't think anyone knows the future. But like it's good to keep going to see where everything ends and to see where trying your best will take you. At this point, I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm just drawing and talking, talking and drawing. Now it's time to make some more paint. I'm glad I have plenty more to work with. I'm really just a boring guy. Like, I usually don't know what to talk about. Oh yeah, speaking of my art, my mom actually wanted to see my progress on it, so give me a second and I'll take a picture and I'll send it to her. Oh yeah, and this is due tomorrow. I know it's kind of taboo. I'm not really working on the last minute though, so don't think I'm like some rusher. It's more so like give me 1 second to send this picture to my mom. Let's see. Oh, I'm just looking at my analytics. Yeah, there's no one viewing this, but who cares? Now, what was I gonna do? Oh, let me actually add some white on the border around here to better edge out a highlight. Dang, I added blue. You know what? No, because I need more blue actually. Have you ever just zoned out as an artist? Like I actually learned about this in my stress management class. It was like you get hypnotized, and hypnotism technically isn't a bad thing, but it's like when you're doing something slow and monotonous, it's it's like you get hypnotized by it, like you get put in trance. That's pretty much what hypnotism is. It's just a long trance. And shit, any artist they are more than likely hypnotized by doing art. I think she said something actually. Give me 1 second. Looks good so far. Yep. What am I gonna do now? Let me add a little bit of white right here, because my intent is to go back and blend it with some water. Oh yeah, all of this stuff was $76. Can you believe it? $76 for art supplies. I mean, I understand why it's expensive. Like, you have to make the paint, you have to ship it, and you have to make a profit from it. But like, gosh, like $76. $76 for the paint, the easel, this new swatch board. Um, and then I bought like two, no, like two of these big things. So this is the first one. I have a second one, and then I also bought a smaller pack of like 5 poster boards. But yeah, art stuff is expensive. That's why I do digital art because it's cheaper. I mean, but like, is it though? Is it really cheaper? Or is that just what they want us to believe? You see, I hate it when this happens. It's like sometimes I add too much water and it runs, and then I don't get like this really good blend to it. So I think I need to like add some blue in here to better. I don't know. You know, sometimes I just don't know. And I act like I know, but I really don't. Anyway, I like this. It gave it like a nice shade effect. Let me just add some more blue to it so that it looks like a shaded value. I don't want to add black yet because the thing with black and paint is that you just add one drop of black and then next thing you know you have like a really dark shade. So when you're swatching it, you have to be like very careful with how much black you use, because if you use too much black, then it's going to take like a whole bunch of white to get it back to anything resembling the previous color. That's one of the downsides of mixing. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back over and add some whites to better blend this. Oh shit. Let's see. How long have I been recording? Oh, that's almost an hour and 30 minutes. Wow. need to rinse out this brush and add some more white. Like I need some actual white. I can't blend it anymore. Because it's not giving me the effect that I want anymore. I think the recycling is here. Like this area right here, it needs more white. And then I need to add some more white in here because I lost the effect I was going for. I mean, because it's like a light blue in this area over here, but I'm trying to go for a white. And then after I got that white, I'll just spread it out evenly. You know, I could have the white, you know, go into here, into that little crack in the neck to like, actually very light. And then I'll just have it like fade a little bit because I'm going to go back with some water to help blend it into the background. And now that I have that effect that I want, I then need to add some white in here. Just a little bit because that already has a nice blue outline over there. You see, the downside is my paintbrush is frayed, so sometimes I'll get like small streaks of paint where I don't want to get them. Let me just do like this. And then I'll edge it out with some blue later. Ooh, and when it's done drying, I'll add like streaks of white. That'd be pretty nice. Here, let me use this paintbrush. Yeah, tiny bit of water. What did I say? I do want to let this dry because when it does, I want to go into the face and like add just a few facial details. And then also when this gets a little bit drier, I'm gonna add some dark blue to sort of try and add a shadow because this is supposed to be another finger. And wait a second. Yeah, it's fine. Oh shit. Let's see. Let me take another picture for my mom. Anyway, I have to blend some more blue because I want to try and reach close to this shade that I had before to sort of block some more stuff out and also fix all this. Because I use like a decent amount of blue when I made it. Oh yeah, Elden Ring is actually out right now, and I was thinking about buying it. Now I do not have a capture card, so even if I did buy it, I wouldn't be able to like film any videos. But like, it looks fun. It genuinely looks like a fun game, and I've always been afraid of Souls games because I've always hated jump scares. Like that is just the one thing I could never really get into was the jump scares. And then just the idea of dying and like losing all your money, like that sounds aggravating. But I mean, okay, so this is gonna sound really bad, but like the one reason why I bought the Dark Souls collection, because I was going to GameStop and then I saw like Dark Souls had their 3 game selection. It was like one box and it had all 3 Dark Souls in it, and I'm like, oh, this looks fun. And then I bought it because I was watching a lot of lore videos at the time, and I just love lore. Like, I love stories with a history to them, you know? And I had bought it because I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get into the lore of Dark Souls. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great. Gonna have so much fun. And then the first time I fought Ludex Gundyr, I died like maybe 15 times. I died 15 times to the first boss, which was humbling. Yeah, let's go with humbling. Yeah, it was humbling for me. And then I took a break from it, and I'm like upset, like I wasted my money. I can't even play this game. Yes, I was one of those. I was one of those people who were complaining about the difficulty. Don't judge me, okay? You don't. You can rip into me, but not that bad. Not that much. But then for some reason, I just decided to try it again because I had actually gotten Code Vein, which is pretty much anime Dark Souls but with vampires. And I have to say, like, Code Vein is a really fun game. Like, if you play Dark Souls, if you like Demon Souls, I highly recommend you play Code Vein. Now, Code Vein, it does give you a companion, but like, I would say that Code Vein is a nice gateway game if you want to try your hand at Dark Souls, but you're afraid of it. Because I know I was, but like after playing Code Vein and some of its DLC, like I wanted to play Dark Souls again. Like, mm. And now I'm playing Dark Souls now. I'm playing Dark Souls 3 right now. And I'm actually past that little fire breathing dragon. And I have to get into that room. And I died to a mimic. And you know, I was pissed, but I also still had fun at the same time. Yeah, like Dark Souls is actually a fun game. So like I've been on both sides. I know why people hate it. I know why people don't like dying to it, but at the same time, I also understand why people actually love dying, and they actually love the difficulty of Dark Souls because it is fun. It's fun to grow. It's fun to fail and then try again. Because the thing about Dark Souls is you have to be patient. You just can't hack and slash your enemies. Dark Souls isn't near automata. Like you have to be patient, and like you may fight an enemy for like a few minutes before you're able to progress and go to the next room. And then you actually have to be like clever with the stuff you do. Like you have to make sure that you're not running in blind. And there's actually some cool stuff that rewards you. Like in the first room, there's actually like a way to cheese the dragon where the dragon will actually blow fire and its fire will kill a bunch of enemies in the next room over. So that by the time you get over there you don't have to worry about like a bunch of enemies to fight. Dark Souls is very much a game where you have to learn to love it. And that actually pieces back to, well, the piece I'm working on because this piece is all about having hope. and I actually have a video I'm working on now. I have to write the script, but it's essentially gonna be like a character study of Vana from Final Fantasy XIV, where I talk about, having hope and despair and stuff like that. Emo stuff. This has been so fun to work on. It's fun to just talk to people. And like I have no one in my comments right now. Like I have no one. There's just one like and like two playbacks right now. But this has been really fun. Just to sit here and talk. Let's see here. Let's get some paint. Place it right here. I think I'm gonna let this dry. Oh, for a little bit. Okay. Um, so this is starting to look really good, and I'm liking how it's turning out. Uh, let's see. I think I'm going to use a darker blue for the fades to sort of offset it. And actually, let me go back in and add some of it. That's too much. It's a good thing my mom told me about this tart. So I would have made a mess a long time ago. I'm trying. I'm about to end the stream. I just want to make sure that this gets blended properly. Okay, I think that's it for at least a while right now. Because I'm getting kind of tired. Can't really keep doing this for long periods of time. Anyway, I had fun. Thank you guys for stopping by to Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. And anyway, I guess I'll just see you guys in my next video. I might live stream again and finish this all up. But anyway, that's it. Bye, guys.